Hey guys, it's Nicomas here. Today I have an exciting Mortal Kombat 1 video. Guest characters. Love them or hate them. We know they're going to be in the new MK game. This video is just going to be me listing off guest characters that I'd love to see in the upcoming game. So, let's get into it. For my Mortal Kombat 11 guest wish list, I mentioned the following characters: Doomslayer, John Wick, and Ash Williams. Unfortunately, none of them were guests in Mortal Kombat 11, so I'm obviously still hoping to see them in this installment. I went into more detail in the original video, which will be linked below, but all three characters are extremely violent and great fighters/killers that I would love to see included in a Mortal Kombat game. Ash was even supposed to be in Mortal Kombat 11, but no explanation was ever given as to why he was scrapped. I'm assuming the rights fell out. Keanu Reeves went out and said he wouldn't want to see John Wick or Neo in Mortal Kombat. Probably doesn't want to see himself brutalized, and I can't blame him. I don't know if Keanu has the final call or not, but I can definitely see that being an obstacle in including him in the game. Ed Boon did go out and say that they almost added Neo to Injustice 2, so never say never. Doom Slayer, Doom Guy, Doom Marine, whatever you want to call him, he should definitely appear. I don't see a single reason why he couldn't be added. The Doom developers even showed interest in the past. We haven't had a video game character in Mortal Kombat since Kratos in MK9. If Fortnite can get the Doomslayer, there's no reason why Mortal Kombat can't. Other video game characters I'd love to see are Talion from Shadow of Mordor, and even Isaac Clarke from Dead Space. I think they could both fit perfectly, and we need more video game character representation. It's crazy to think out of all the guests we've gotten, there's never been any true female guests.
Actually, Nicomas, Wonder Woman and Catwoman were both guests in the hit crossover game Mortal Kombat vs. DC.
Okay, fair enough, but come on. Actually cool female guests in a good Mortal Kombat game is what I mean. Here would be my two picks: Buffy the Vampire Slayer and the Bride from Kill Bill. Buffy might seem a bit cheesy, but I always remember that show being on TV when I was younger and thinking she was such a badass. I feel like she could be a really fun inclusion in Mortal Kombat. Of course, I'm talking about the TV show version of the character, played by Sarah Michelle Gellar. Ed Boon even admitted in a tweet that they've talked about including her over the years. So what better kick-ass woman than Buffy? I know I'd love to see it. Especially if Natara makes the cut for the roster. Having Buffy versus Mortal Kombat's only vampire would be a hilarious interaction. The Bride doesn't even need an explanation. If you've seen Kill Bill, or any Quentin Tarantino flick for that matter, you'll know her gratuitous violence is right on par with MK's. I highly doubt Quentin or Uma would have any issue doing this if it was proposed to them. Another kick-ass lady that could join the roster. Spawn was a great inclusion in Mortal Kombat 11, however, Joker was a bit disappointing for me. Out of all comic books, you're telling me they had to pick Joker? He's the only guest character that's been in 2 Mortal Kombat games. Here's some much better comic book characters that I'd love to see in the next game. Homelander is a man who needs no introduction. He'd be a perfect fit, and I'd love to see his arrogant attitude interacting with the Mortal Kombat cast. With The Boys being such a popular show, there's even more reason to include Homelander. NRS has already worked on Superman in the Injustice games, and Homelander is a very similar type of character, just much more brutal, bloodlusted, and fitted for Mortal Kombat. It would be very interesting to see NRS handle Homelander. I bet one of his fatalities would be the way he killed Madeline off in the show. If you know, you know. Omni-Man is even better than Homelander in my opinion. I absolutely loved the first season of Invincible, and if J.K. Simmons reprises his role as Omni-Man for the game, it would be such a dream come true. Seeing Omni-Man realistic looking in Mortal Kombat style would be so badass, and I already know his X-ray moves and fatalities are going to be vicious. I would love it even more if Homelander versus Omni-Man was the rivalry for this game. Mortal Kombat X had Alien vs Predator, Mortal Kombat 11 had Terminator vs RoboCop, Mortal Kombat 1 has Homelander vs Omni-Man? I think it would be amazing. As a big fan of Invincible and The Boys, there's no one better than Omni-Man to put Homelander in his place. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Wink, wink. V from V for Vendetta and Rorschach from Watchmen are another two comic characters I would love to see in Mortal Kombat. They've both had movie adaptations and definitely fit the bill of dark, violent fighters. DC Comics has ties to both of these franchises and has obviously had no issues giving NRS the rights to characters in the past. I'm unsure if these two would ever make it, as I really don't know if they're popular enough to sell as DLC, but I'd love it nonetheless. Both could have very cool movesets, interesting dialogue, and of course, gory fatalities. Finally, I would love to see Fulgor included. This might be a far cry, as Killer Instinct hasn't been active since 2013, but it could be a great way to finally have these two fighting game titans cross over. Tekken has included characters from other fighting games such as Akuma from Street Fighter and Geese Howard from Fatal Fury. So why can't Mortal Kombat include another fighting game character? I think Killer Instinct's the perfect candidate for this, as they were always a more violent series than the likes of Street Fighter. Fulgor would be an amazing fit in Mortal Kombat. It might be a bit weird since Killer Instinct is really fast-paced compared to Mortal Kombat, but I have faith NRS could make it work. He could just have really quick combos. I mean, let's just see Death Battle's Fulgor vs. Sector finally become a reality. So those are some of the guest characters I would love to see most in Mortal Kombat 1. It's pretty hard to narrow it down, but those are the main ones for me. I briefly want to talk about guests as cameos. Does that sound crazy? Well, Ed Boon himself even said it's a possibility. I think a cool way they could do this is to include more characters from the playable guest franchise. For example, if Homelander is playable, we could get Butcher as a cameo. Or if Ash Williams is playable, we could have Pablo as a cameo, etc. Sidekick kind of characters. I think that could be interesting and make sense with how prominent cameos are in the matches. Another cool idea for guest cameos I saw online was people saying characters like Chucky, who would normally be too hard to make fully playable. Any other time I would have said Chucky in Mortal Kombat is stupid, but I think this is the perfect opportunity to make it happen. Having Chucky somersault in and attack the fighters for X-rays, and even getting his own fatality would be great, and honestly too easy to pull off. I expect to see some awesome possibilities for guests in Mortal Kombat 1. What do you think about my list? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, guys. As always, this has been Nickfamous. See you later.
Let's see how he likes a Kamehameha!